Hi guys, welcome back to Atic Atac. In this video, we are going to be loading in the data from the files. So all the files that we created and the tools and all that kind of stuff, that now gets loaded into Atic Atac, and we're going to start describing the rooms. All of that starts after the fade. So now we get to the boring bits again. So I made a couple of changes to the programs that we did earlier on, and I ended up with this wall of JSON text, and this is going to be our internal data that we're going to use. So I'm going to copy this across to the resources folder. So first things first, I need to create a resources folder. So I'm going to create a resources folder, and I'm going to go to here and I'm going to drag and drop complete map into there. I'll make this available on the website so that you can download the complete map data. So we need to take this stuff here, and we need to convert this across to our JSON format. Now there's a couple of things we want to change. Like for example, the screen ID is going to be 0, screen shape, all that kind of stuff. Now we're going to create a serialized version of this, but in reality we don't want to have a linear search for that. We want to have a dictionary search. So we're gonna have a sort of an intermediate version of this, but the room data, the graphic data, it's going to be the same. Okay, so I think everything's worked okay. Linked ID, okay, just making sure that. All right, so I want to go into my scripts folder here, and I am going to create another folder called serialization. So this is all really just about organization of things, and I'm going to create a C# script which is going to be serialized screen, and I'm going to create another one which is also called screen, and I am going to create another one which is going to be I think we call them graphic. Let's call it background object instead. And I think that's all we need to do there. Okay, so for my screen is not that. It is just a base class, and the base class is going to have screen shape, public int screen shape, and it's going to have a color as well, which is red, green, and blue. So I'm going to have public, and this is going to be our let's call it a color, and this is going to be color, and then we also have public list, and this is going to be background object, and this is going to be called, where are we in the file, objects. So we obviously don't have a color, so we'll rectify that in just a sec, and we'll make this aliasable, which means we need to do using system. So this is our serializable screen, which maps to this bit here. So we have screens. So there's our screen ID, which we haven't put in because we have a serialized version of this. This is just the sort of base model of it there. And then we have a screen shape, which is this field here. And we have color, which is this field here. And then we have our, if I scroll this over here, we have objects, which is this over here. So we need to create another script called a color. So we'll do that just now. And I'm going to call that script a color. to reload everything. Save that. Yes. So everything's saved there. So we go to AA color, press F12. You see it's a mono behavior. We don't want mono behavior, but we do want it to be our red, green, and blue. So our red, green, and blue is a floating point number. Float red, float green, and public float blue. So those are the components, and we just need system here for our color. Okay, and that's us for there. So we go for scripts. And then what I want to do is I want to have, so this screen here is serializable, but we also want to have a serialized screen, which is going to extend from screen. So again, it doesn't need any of that, but it does need screen ID. So I need to do public int screen ID. Visible. Okay, so we're going to extend it from there because we only need that one additional property, which means that we can then take that and then we can just use our screen for our model, which is what I want, because I don't really want to like write two separate classes for our serializable version and also our in-game model version of it. And then our background object, again, what did I just press there? F11. We want to have the objects in here. So what do we have here? These are so every graphic, every object is this here. So I'm going to grab all of these. In ID equals that, flags equals that, timing equals that. So this is all the properties that we have for our object. So I'm going to just blat that in there, and I'm going to move these two separate lines. So these are just from the JSON file, they're not anything spectacular. And then we have our unknown flags there. Okay, so each of these is going to be probably probably integers. So we'll just make them all integers. So if I hold down the Alt key and I drag down a line, it can actually make a rectangle, but I can also just drag it right down, so it's just one single line. I can do public int, and then that gives me all of these values here. If I press delete, that gets rid of all of them, and if I press Control right, hopefully, no, it didn't. Oh well. So these are, I think these are all integers actually. So we can just get rid of all of this over here. Okay, and then we have serializable as well. Alright, and that is our background objects. We have our graphic, unknown, whatever that is, our X and Y position on the screen based on this room. And then we've got flags, linked ID, door timings, all that kind of stuff. I've got so some of these unknown flags, I've got a funny feeling might be to do with rotations and things. So we'll figure that out nearer when we get to describe the room. This video is only about the getting the data into the game. And then of course we do need our, if we go back to here, we need our loader program here. So I'm going to create a C# script, and this is going to be our, I can't call it data loader, let's call it map loader, which is a bit more specific. And I'll reload that. Yeah. And I'm going to go to map loader. Now this one I do want to be a mono behavior. And I also want to give it a default value for the resource file here. So the resource file is complete map. Okay, so I'm going to say public string map file equals complete map. Now what this means is if we wanted to do our own map, so like an enhanced version of Atic Atac, we could change this to whatever we wanted to do, or we could create like an editor to do to do each level, that kind of thing. Or maybe we want our players to be able to create their own mansions or whatever. Okay, so when this starts up, I want it to immediately load the map and deserialize everything. So I have, I'm going to expose public dictionary, and it's going to be an int and a screen, screens get private set. So this is going to be done internally. So again, I need to add my, actually I'll just do it over here. So I need to add using system.collections.generic. And I need that generic for my dictionary. And void awake. So inside the awake, I'm going to do screens equals new screens, because I want to set this, I want this to be private because I don't want anyone to create this on the fly. I want to control that. So I need a dummy object as well. So I'm going to go back to here and go to my serialization script, and then I'm going to call this my map data. And reload all, yes. And my map data is also going to be serializable because it's going to be from the JSON. And if I go back to, have I closed it? No, I haven't. If I go back to here, you see that we have screens. So I'm going to say that this is public list serialized screens. So now I need to add my generic collection there. So now I have a list of all the screens that are in here. Now each screen has got a screen ID attached to it. I'm not interested in anything more than, like, I don't want to expose this to the game. I don't want to serialize screen out to the game, so I'm going to have to create a way to get a screen from there. So I'm going to create what's called a copy constructor. Screen, and I am going to say serialize screen. And I'm going to say screen shape equals screen dot screen shape. Do I need to do this? Actually, no, I don't. I'm just being silly. I don't need to do that. I'm going to just ignore me, because we can do something really cool. So if so our screen is there, and then our map loader is taking in a screen. Now because our serialized screen is a child, a subtype of screen, we can apply it to that, which means that anyone who accesses this is just going to get the properties and methods associated with the screen. So we don't need to change anything at all. We just need to apply it to, we just need to add it as the integer there. So that's fine, it's fine. Okay. Text asset, so text asset equals resources, nope, resources dot load text asset, and this is map file. So we're going to load our map file in, and then we want to take the JSON from there and then create our object from there. So we are going to say var map data equals, and this is going to be JSON utility dot from JSON map data txt asset dot text. So we're going to create our map data, and then for each item in the map data, we're going to add it to our dictionary here. So we're going to say for each bar screen in map data data.screens. So for each one of those inside the screen, we're going to add it to the dictionary. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to say screens screen ID equals screen. And you see it accepts it because screen is the dictionary of screens. Each value of the key value pair needs to have a screen object, and it just so happens that because we've done the because serialized screen is of type screen, we don't need to do any copy constructors or anything like that. Technically, someone else could go in and recast it as a serialized screen, but it should be okay. Okay. So we're going to set a breakpoint there and go into here, and this is going to give us, so we want to have I'm going to create an empty object here, and I'm going to call this game controller. So all our game controller stuff is going to go on here. So this is all the things that creates the mobs for the room, spawns everything, creates all the Draculas, that kind of stuff. And our map loader is going to be on here, and you see that it's got our default value in here, which is our complete map. So if I set a breakpoint here and I attach to Unity, hopefully everything should just work, and it'll just load everything, and we can end the video and everybody's good. Okay, well, it looks like we're ending the video early. So now you see that we have 149 rooms, which I think is right for Atic Atac, and you see it's a serialized screen, and it has access to everything in there, but it's only got access to the properties that we gave it access to. So we don't have, oh, it's still got screen ID from there, but anytime we access it, it's still going to only show it. Basically, it's going to hide the screen ID, which is fine. That's what we want. We wanted it to be of type screen, so I'm happy with what we have just now. I'm mumbling just now because it's quite late. Okay. Okay, so we have our 149 screens loaded in. The next thing we need to do is we need to describe those screens, which means I need to get all those graphics off of the background images, and then we can start putting them inside the rooms and describing that data. Hi guys, thank you very much for watching. I know your time's important, so I do appreciate eyes on the videos. So if you liked, thumbs up. If you didn't like, then thumbs down. Tell me what I did wrong. Leave a comment below. And if you feel free, if you want, you can subscribe, and you will get timely reminders, or depending on how the YouTube algorithm works, who knows these days. But the subscribe button is down there anyway, if you want to smash that like button, as they say in YouTube. But anyway, thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.